In the realm of life's tempestuous seas, there are moments when the winds of weariness threaten to extinguish our inner flame. In these times of depleted energy, we, as seekers of wisdom, turn to an ancient philosophy that transcends the ages, Stoicism. It is in the crucible of Stoic teachings that we find the forge to temper our spirit, to rise above the languor that seeks to entangle us. Picture this, a Stoic, not as a distant sage atop a mountain, but as a steadfast companion on the journey of self-mastery. When the shadows of fatigue loom large, the Stoic embraces the inner citadel, fortifying it with the wisdom of Epictetus, the resilience of Marcus Aurelius, and the tranquility of Seneca. In our control is the most beautiful and most important thing, that is, our attitudes, says Epictetus. It's a potent reminder that the weariness we feel is but a passing storm, and the power to navigate it resides within us. The Stoic, therefore, refuses to surrender to the capricious winds of circumstance. As the Stoic contemplates the dance of atoms and the grand tapestry of fate, a profound understanding emerges. The ebb and flow of energy are but the rhythms of nature. In this cosmic ballet, the Stoic finds solace, for he knows that strength lies not in the avoidance of fatigue, but in the unwavering resolve to face it head-on. Seneca, the venerable Stoic, whispers through the corridors of time, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The Stoic, ever mindful of the fleeting nature of existence, does not squander energy on futile pursuits. Instead, he channels it towards endeavors that align with the higher purpose, the cultivation of virtue and the pursuit of wisdom. In the crucible of Stoicism, destructive emotions are transmuted into stepping stones towards self-mastery. The Stoic confronts fatigue not as an adversary, but as a stern teacher. Through the lens of Stoic wisdom, setbacks become setups for comebacks, and every moment of weariness becomes an opportunity to exercise the muscle of resilience. Imagine the Stoic, a torchbearer in the labyrinth of life, navigating its twists and turns with an unwavering flame. "It is not that we have a short time, but that we waste much of it," echoes Seneca. It is a call to arms, a reminder that our energy is a precious resource, not to be squandered on the trivial, but invested in the pursuit of the virtuous life. As the Stoic stands on the precipice of exhaustion, he gazes into the abyss and whispers. Fate whispers to the warrior, "You cannot withstand the storm." The warrior whispers back, "I am the storm." It is the rallying cry of fortitude, the declaration that within the crucible of Stoicism, one emerges not as a victim of circumstance, but as the architect of one's destiny. As the Stoic advances through the labyrinth of weariness, the whispers of Marcus Aurelius echo in the chambers of the mind. Very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. In the face of exhaustion, the Stoic turns inward, realizing that the true wellspring of vitality lies not in external circumstances but in the well-guarded fortress of the soul. The Stoic, embracing the ancient art of inner alchemy, transforms weariness into an opportunity for self-discovery. In the crucible of self-reflection, he contemplates the dichotomy of control, shedding the burden of futile resistance to the inevitable. Like a sculptor chiseling away the excess stone, the Stoic shapes his responses to fatigue with deliberate intention. In the tapestry of Stoic wisdom, the threads of acceptance and resilience are tightly woven. The Stoic recognizes that energy, like the tides, waxes and wanes, and true strength lies in the acceptance of this eternal rhythm. With a tranquil heart, he navigates the undulating currents of life, understanding that the ephemerality of weariness is but a fleeting ripple in the vast ocean of existence. Seneca, the Stoic sage, beckons from the annals of time, "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive." In the face of weariness, the Stoic stares unflinchingly into the abyss, for he knows that the fear of depletion is but a shadow, and within it lies the seed of renewal. To confront weariness is to confront the specter of mortality itself, and in that confrontation, one finds the essence of living. The Stoic, armed with the wisdom of ages, transmutes weariness into a crucible of transformation. He does not merely endure but embraces the challenge, knowing that within the crucible, character is refined, and the spirit attains a luminous strength. As the flames of fatigue dance, the Stoic emerges, not as a victim of circumstance, but as a sculpted masterpiece of fortitude. In the profound silence of Stoic introspection, the words of Epictetus resonate, "He who is brave is free." The Stoic, facing the abyss of weariness, stands as a testament to the liberation that comes from mastering the self. In the crucible of Stoicism, bravery is not the absence of weariness but the audacity to confront it with grace and resilience. As the Stoic traverses the labyrinth of weariness, the echoes of wisdom guide him through the shadows. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Seneca's words reverberate in the corridors of the weary soul. The Stoic, confronted with the dwindling flame of energy, refrains from succumbing to the insatiable hunger for more. Instead, he directs his focus to the reservoirs within, recognizing the richness of his own inner fortitude. In the crucible of Stoicism, the Stoic becomes an adept navigator of the mind's tumultuous seas. With every step through the labyrinth, he confronts the storms with the unwavering spirit of Marcus Aurelius, who declared, "Very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." The Stoic knows that true contentment resides not in the external, ever-changing tides of circumstance, but in the steadfastness of one's own convictions. As the labyrinthine paths unfold, the Stoic encounters the specter of fear, summoned by weariness and the uncertainty it brings. Yet, echoing in the deep recesses of the mind is Seneca's reminder, "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive." In the face of weariness-induced anxiety, the Stoic finds courage, understanding that it is not the absence of fear that defines bravery, but the audacity to act in spite of it. The Stoic's journey through weariness is not a solitary venture but a collective pilgrimage, a shared odyssey of those who have embraced the teachings of the ancients. The collective wisdom of Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca forms an invisible bond, creating a fellowship of resilient spirits united in the pursuit of self-control. In the midst of weariness, the Stoic does not merely endure, he transmutes the fatigue into a crucible of transformation. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the Stoic emerges from the depths, embodying Seneca's declaration that, "He who is brave is free." It is not a freedom from weariness, but a liberation found in the mastery of one's response to it. As the Stoic continues the odyssey through weariness, the resonance of ancient wisdom permeates the very fabric of his being. "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it," Seneca's voice echoes, a poignant reminder in the face of fatigue. The Stoic, undeterred by the fleeting nature of time, steels himself with the resolve to extract meaning from each moment, transcending weariness through purposeful living. In the crucible of Stoicism, weariness is not a signal to surrender but an invitation to introspection. The Stoic, armed with the teachings of Epictetus, dissects the elements within his control and those beyond. "In our control is the most beautiful and most important thing, that is, our attitudes," he muses, realizing that the alchemy of self-control unfolds not in the absence of weariness, but in the conscious shaping of one's responses. The labyrinth of weariness reveals itself as a tapestry of interconnected threads, woven with the philosophy of resilience. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, offers solace, "Very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." The Stoic, amidst the ebb and flow of energy, finds happiness not in external circumstances but in the fortress of his own thoughts, steering the ship through the storm. Seneca's words resonate again, "He who fears death will never do anything worth of a man who is alive." In the face of weariness-induced fear, the Stoic confronts the shadow of mortality with the unwavering light of courage. It is a courageous stride, not away from weariness, but towards it, embracing the transient nature of life as a canvas upon which resilience is painted. The Stoic's journey is a shared expedition, an unspoken camaraderie with fellow seekers. In this shared pursuit of wisdom, weariness becomes a universal adversary, met with collective fortitude. The words of Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca form a chorus of encouragement, inspiring a fellowship of resilient spirits, united by the common goal of self-mastery. So, dear companions on this labyrinthine quest, when weariness cloaks your path, envision the Stoic's response. In the crucible of Stoicism, weariness becomes the catalyst for a profound metamorphosis. It is not a descent into despair but an ascent into the fortitude of the human spirit. Navigate the labyrinth, for within its twists and turns, the Stoic discovers not only the power to endure but the strength to thrive amidst weariness. Embrace the storm, for in the crucible of Stoicism, weariness is not a defeat but a call to awaken the indomitable flame within, burning brighter and more resilient than ever before.